Round 6 done and dusted. Welcome to Inside Ball. Kev and Dobbo with you on a Monday to recap. We'll talk to the big news first. Lots of results to get through, but it has been clouded in controversy over the course of the weekend. I love rugby league, the gift that keeps on giving. Hey, Kev, how are you, mate?
I'm good, Dobbo. How's your week, mate?
Mate, good. Yeah, good weekend. Happy birthday. My wife had a 42nd birthday on Saturday.
Okay.
Did all the things. Son's playing footy. Daughter's playing netball. Mate, it was a very full weekend. What about you, mate?
Yeah, the same. Just working on the footy over the weekend. Sunday, had a rare Sunday off. So just spent it relaxing.
Wine night at Kevie's. It would have been a little wine last night. That's the old tradition.
Yeah, Sunday
afternoon wine.
Yeah, didn't do the roast last night.
No. Well, there's a lot of feedback about Kevie's crumb chicken. We will get to that because...
people trying to tell me how to cook my chicken.
People have weighed in. And the voice of the silent majority have spoken. We will get to that. Let's talk about some of the big results. Look, just quickly, Dolphins win. Broncos got pumped. So did the Titans. Cowboys 3 in a row. But the big question mark from all around is Penrith. 4-time champions. They've been, and without a doubt, I think when it all finishes, they will be regarded as one of the best dynasties of all time in 4 in a row. No team's ever done that other in the modern game.
Yeah.
But they've lost 5 in a row now, Kev.
Yeah.
And the worrying sign is their defence doesn't seem to be improving. Your take on where they're at the moment?
Well, I've been involved in a team both as a player and a coach where you lose 5 in a row. So go back to 99 at the Broncos. I think we lost 6 in a row. And then, which makes it difficult to play finals, you know. Yep. But as a group, and I'm sure the Panthers would be feeling this as well, they've been hard hit with players, departing, going to other clubs, and also some injuries this year haven't helped them as well. Dylan Edwards has missed a chunk of – he's only been there for about 2 games. Nathan Cleary's missed some games as well. So what you find is that, that there's combinations there that have been at Penrith are no longer there. Combinations in attack, but more importantly, combinations and that trust that Penrith have with their defensive line is just not there anymore. So they're getting hurt on the scoreboard, which makes it very hard to win games. I think they're averaging nearly 30 points a game.
That's the thing. It's interesting. Against everybody's talking about the defence, and they're saying no Luai, no James Fisher-Harris. Do 2 players make that big a difference?
Well, they can, with confidence-wise, and but where the Panthers are falling into trouble, they're sort of hurting themselves. They're coming up with uncharacteristic errors, drop balls, penalties at crucial times, which deflates the confidence of the team. Yeah. And then they're unable, and their coach said this, Ivan, after the game, that they're unable to defend their errors, which is something that's very new to Penrith. Now, they weren't a team when they were winning those grand finals and being so successful that made a lot of errors. So they, their defence held up really well, but they seem to be just making 1 or 2 more errors a half, which can put a lot of pressure, on your defensive team and your defensive structure, which they got players in there. Their left edge was torn apart by the Dolphins. Their right edge was torn apart. Yeah. Herbie Farnworth in the opening minutes
destroyed him
through, and then that was Hammer's first try. So, and then they went across to the other side of the field and pulled that apart as well. So, lots of work to do for the Panthers. Ivan believes that he can get them back on track and get them into a winning formula. And whilst he says that, I'm gonna go with the coach.
Kev, I've got to give you these stats. No team's ever lost 5 in a row and made a grand final, won a grand final.
Well,
can Penrith break that?
Right now, I'm going to have to say no.
Right.
Because stats are there for a reason, and they support what's happening. But you never write this Penrith. People have written them off before, and they just keep finding a way. So I think it's going to be hard, though. And we've spoken about this before on the podcast. To make the grand final, you've got to be in that top 4, I feel. And can Penrith make the top 4? No. I think it's going to be very hard.
You've got to win 13 to make the 8. Right? They've got 18 games left. So they've got to win 13 of 18 to make the 8. To make the 8.
Yeah.
So, it's not, I'm not going to write them off but till it becomes mathematically impossible.
Yep.
But we know 13's the magic number, and they got 1. So they got the Roosters this weekend. That's no
Broncos
easy
magic weekend, haven't they?
Yeah, well they've got in a couple of weeks' time. So that is a huge huge challenge, and it'll be interesting to see after what the Roosters showed. I mean, they beat him a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
I think they'd be very confident going in. I mean, Billy Smith's out, and we'll get to the Roosters in a minute.
What about the Dolphins, though? Gee, they were impressive, weren't they?
Well, they were very good, and when we recap that, I probably wouldn't mind talking about the Dolphins because they've won 2 in a row now, and they take on Melbourne this week. But the refereeing's the big issues now for me. That's Kev, the real issues that I've got. Gajeski gets sin bin. They stop the play, they go back. Has the bunker gone too far?
Well, yes, I believe it has, certainly, and there's lots of noise around the bunker and how much it should be involved in our game, how much it should be making decisions in our game in live situations in games. So that was a weird situation where Gajeski came out of the line, tried to clean up Radley, got him high.
Radley gets to his feet, though. Like, Radley doesn't stay down, and he wasn't knocked out, so he gets to his feet.
He gets to his feet. They play the ball. They kick it. The Broncos have it for a play or two, and then play gets stopped.
Yeah.
So they can't, I was talking to a referee yesterday about this. Once the game moves so far forward in time, you can't go back.
Yeah,
you can't go back.
That's the drama.
So they should have, I'm not sure what the solution is. Get onto it earlier. And make the decision earlier or just let it go. One or the other.
But they didn't penalise. They didn't penalise him. It was just play on. So there's a question mark. And I feel for the referees because we want more referees to be coming into the game. But it just seems to me that what we're doing at the moment is making it impossible. The referees got booed. Peter Goff got booed coming off at half-time. Well, it's not – don't boo the referee. Boo the bunker because the bunker is officiating and telling them to stop play. They're checking – like that is where it's all coming from.
I couldn't agree more with you, mate. And the bunker, there were some coaches that were invited in last year. Wayne Bennett was one. He went in and had a look. And Wayne walked out of the bunker, this was last year, and said, well, poor referees, I feel for them. There's just that much happening in the bunker. They got 18 cameras in there. So you can imagine the pressure on the bunker to get everything right. And referees, the bunker, are no different to players and coaches. They get things wrong. They make mistakes. They make errors. So we've just got to live with that. Thankfully, it wasn't a huge game. It didn't have a big influence, over the game. And both teams just got on with things. And, the other one is the protection of the head.
Seriously.
They cracked down on that. So there were... And in today's game now, and this was the case even last year and the last couple of years, it's critical with your bench and your selection of your bench that you cover every position on the field. You need coverage for it. We see wingers going up. Jesse Arthur's left the field.
Yeah, well, they're going to try and fight this. This is the thing. Like, he passed a Cat 1, right? But everybody thought it was a Cat 2, but it was deemed a Cat 1 by the NRL, so he's automatically got a stand down.
Right.
So they're going to try and challenge that this week, which is a huge story in its own.
See, I don't agree with that, Dobbo.
Yeah.
He's got a whack in the head.
Yeah.
And I'm not a doctor, so, but, if someone gets a whack in the head and a doctor rules what it is, and Jesse would have done his HIA report, and questions.
Passed it. He passed it.
Right.
So he passed a Cat 1. But because he's a Cat 1, it's immediate stand down. Like that. So that's why they're going to... There is a challenge.
Well, they're probably well within their rights to do that.
But,
and only Jesse would know how, if he's feeling, again, I'm not getting in that space because that's danger. I'm staying right out of it, Dobbo.
Okay.
I get in trouble for not putting flour in chicken.
Yeah, you are going to be in trouble with that. We will get through all the games.
We got one more point to cover on that game, our winger of the week.
Yeah, we'll get to winger of the week.
Oh, later. Okay. Hold back, Kev. Hold back.
Right. Spencer Leniu. I know this is going to be, and I know you said to me, we're not talking about it. Yes, we are. We all know what happened when you were coaching the Broncos round 1 in Vegas. Let's put that, he was suspended. It was uncalled for.
He paid his price. He got 9
weeks suspension.
8 weeks.
He hasn't played Brisbane since round 1 in Las Vegas.
And could you tell that?
Mate, he was jumping up and down on the sideline. Mate, I've actually seen vision at halftime when Jonathan Thurston was interviewing somebody at halftime, I think Billy Smith, he sprayed him. So Spencer has taken offence, and he's well within his rights to take offence. He believed that JT should have got up and said something about Ezra Mam when Ezra Mam was done with drugs and alcohol in his system.
Driving a
car. Unlicensed. There is a theory, well, mate, that was out of season. This was in season. One's racism, one's that. Jonathan Thurston's paid to have an opinion. He was asked at the time, and he commented. My whole take, I have no problem with any of it. I have no problem with Spencer having a crack. My only gripe, and I'd be interested in your thoughts, is, and I spoke to Cam and Barb Smith yesterday about it, right?
Well, they're pretty level-headed people. They give you an honest answer.
They just said, no dramas with having but why do it in public? Like, if you and I have an agreement, you'll ring me up, it won't be in public, and you've been upset with journos before.
Yes.
You talked them away. You've never sprayed them like in front of everybody else. You've talked them away and had a proper chat with them about it.
I did lose my shit last year with Travis Main in a post-match press conference. But that's when, and I did ring him on that following Monday and apologise.
Yeah, well, there you go. But as a general rule, let's say, do you think Spencer handled it poorly by getting stuck into Jono on the field? Because it rattled Thurston. I was there. I was there.
That would rattle most people when you just get, when you get attacked like that. And I wasn't there, so I'm just commenting on what I've read and what I've heard, and because I wasn't there. But yeah, I think there's a place and a time for that. If Spencer has got a problem with Jonathan and his comments, I think that should be done privately, not publicly. But you can understand Spencer Leniu and his first carry, Dobbo. He missiled at Adam Reynolds, and he came off the back fence.
Yeah.
I don't know how Renault survived that one tackle alone.
Mate, Renault had an ugly night. He got a throat shot from his great mate Angus
They're
Crichton.
good mates, aren't they?
Yeah, they're great mates.
When do mates start doing that to mates on the field?
And then he had Spencer running at him. But Spencer put a shot on Stags, and then it was late. It was an arm. It was just a bit like it was footy.
Well, he was, he was the difference the other night.
I agree with you.
He was the difference.
We need heroes and villains in rugby league. People hating on Spencer, I love him because you know what? The crowd was booing him. He told them to F off, and then he looked at JT and told him to F off. He don't care. He sent Xavier Willison a cat emoji on Instagram. Xavier Willison put a photo up, and he sent him a cat emoji on Instagram.
Was this before the game?
No, after the game. And Stags. Mate, he told Billy to shove it on the field. I'm serious. I just, for whatever he is, I think you need heroes and villains, and you need those kind of blokes in the game.
That's what he brings to the game. You can't just switch that off the moment he steps over the white line back into the crowd.
Yeah.
So that's Spencer as a player, and everyone knows that.
And he can play.
He was a difference. As I said, his aggression when he came on in that first half.
He was amped up. We had Elliot Lovejoy on the sideline. Elliot Lovejoy reckons he was pacing and jumping up before he even got on. Mate, he just wanted to get out there. He wanted to start. Mate, the minute they put him out there, it turned. They were, and that niggle and that hard edge, it was unbelievable. I don't have a problem with him doing it. Probably didn't do it at the right spot.
I watched the press conference post game, and Adam Reynolds didn't look too happy.
No,
with what happened in the game. Maybe he shouldn't have played, mate.
Well, we'll get to Brisbane now. Let's talk about Brisbane Roosters. We'll come back and we will unpack Dolphins as well. But we'll start with Brisbane because the biggest talking point is the Broncos. They were absolutely humbled. I'm not going to bag them and say that they're shot, but they've had 2 tests to me this season.
Well, they've had six games, Dobbo, and they've
won
had
4. 2 tests where teams have put it up to them.
Yeah.
Canberra put it up to them, and so did the Roosters.
Yeah, I'm not going with that theory, They'll be fine, the Broncos. You can't win every week. It's tough.
No, I know that, but you got
to
play tough.
They should have played better, 100%. But should they beaten the Roosters? 100%.
They put 50 on them 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. But that Roosters team, they were embarrassed. So they should have responded the way they did, the Roosters. Because they were poor in round 1. The Broncos were very good. This mind is a very powerful tool in rugby league. So if I'm a Roosters player, after round 1, coming up to Suncorp, we didn't hear anything out of the Roosters camp. They were just said nothing, but they spoke with their actions. And you could tell from the kickoff, it was a different mindset from the Roosters. They made some changes to their starting team, which I think paid huge dividends, and No Lindsay Collins there for the Roosters either. So, people were writing the Roosters off, and I was questioning, where they were with their youth policy this year that they're going with. But from Friday night against the Broncos, I'm thinking the Roosters are, they're going to have a pretty good season.
I went and interviewed Trent Robinson before the game, the day before, with his coach's press conference, and I just questioned.
Was that up here?
Yeah, it was at the Sofitel.
Right.
And I just questioned, just like what they're doing, and he said, mate, we've got to get games into these young blokes. Nafu White. You've got that steep,
the halfback, young Hugo,
Vasala. There is a heap of young players.
Billy Smith hasn't played a lot of football, but gee, what about that first try when he's
Robert Toya? There's just a heap of young blokes in that side.
A couple of those young back rows are pretty good too.
Sia Wong, all those guys, they're 10 games, 20 games in. They've got to get them to 40 games. So I actually know where they're going with their youth policy. That's the reason why, and they're just getting culture. And they played well, and you can't keep them like that every week. They're not going to be up like that every week.
40,000 people. Suncorp. It's such. I think I was watching some shows yesterday, and one of the commentators mentioned about coming to Suncorp and how good it is if you're an opposition team. And I remember when I was working at the Melbourne Storm, and they used to love coming to Suncorp and playing the Broncos, because it was a highlight of the rugby league calendar. It's a great stadium. There's always 40, 50,000 people there. And you can get up for it quite easily. It's very, very good.
Where's your Spencer Leniu in that Broncos side? That's what they're missing, Kev. And you might not want to say it. They're missing.
Well, I can say whatever I like on the podcast, but not every team's got Spencer Leniu, mate.
Yeah, but you got to find one. Like Canberra have got three of them.
Yeah.
They got Papa, Horsburgh, and Tarpanay, all of them.
Well,
Titans have got Tino. This. You got to have that mongrel. There's a mongrel in every pack.
Well,
like James Fisher-Harris was at Penrith, and Leota followed
Kobe
suit.
Heatherton is that style. He's pretty aggressive with his defence. He can do that. But I think I know what you're saying, and we'll see. It's round 6, so this is great debate.
I'm not throwing it out. I'm not saying they're gone, because they're a top 4 side. But to me, I get worried because I see a Brisbane side which is packed with talent. I don't think Renault should have played. Now he tells me, oh no, I'm right. But he wasn't right during the game. No. He should not have played.
And you know how you can tell when Adam Reynolds is not right? He's goal kicking, mate. He missed his kicks.
Missed 3.
He normally throws those kicks over.
Yeah.
Quite easily. And he was a little bit argumentative with the ref as well. He's normally a calm player on the field, and that's why he's a great captain. But he seemed to get a little bit unsettled, So maybe he shouldn't have. Anyway, let's move on. They're still won. They've won 4 from 6. That's pretty good. Still sitting in 3rd spot. So
they take on the Warriors.
Come on.
In the wet in New Zealand on Saturday night.
Well, after the Warriors,
Gajeski is gone. He's out for a week, but they will get
Jordan Ricky's back.
So that will be it.
Jethy Arse is debatable. Then they got Dean Mariner sitting up on with Ezra Mann, parked in the garage.
26 points to 16 they were beaten. Let's talk Dolphins and that performance against Penrith. We're touching on 30 points to 12. Hammer's back, baby.
Yeah,
he's back. And
where did he score his tries?
Through the middle.
Hello.
You've been
Come on,
saying
Dolphins.
That. How long have you been saying
Come
that
on.
for? Yeah, since the Tigers.
Wow.
You said it, I think, round 3. You said, listen, this is what he needs to do.
Well, that's how he plays, mate. That's where he plays his best footy, through the middle. And his speed. I just like when he makes a break and you think, oh, is he going to get caught? And then he just looks at him.
Yeah, he's gone.
And goes again. He's got about 10 gears.
You know who's made a difference there? And people will laugh at me. Josh Kerr. I know he has an error in him, but he's that aggressive bench player that comes on, hits hard. Like, he makes a mistake.
He's got a bit of character about him, Dobbo.
Yeah.
I'm told that he's great around the team for his character.
Culture. Yeah, unbelievable.
And he's a likeable person, one of those guys that you really want to play with because he comes on and good things happen around him. They've got a couple of players like that, the Dolphins, that are in their side and their forwards, And
how good is Tom Gilbert and Max Plath going, though? Like, seriously.
Max Plath, they're talking about Origin for him possibly, at some stage in the series.
He has to be there.
Mate, what about the charge down charge down and then he goes through and, unbelievable.
Pegs him in goal. Yeah, like he's a freak. And And they've found his place, his right home as well.
13.
Righto. Very good. Well done, Dolphins. 2 in a row. You do face the Storm this week. We will get to that on Thursday. That's a challenge.
Titans.
Yeah.
Wow.
38 points to 16. I can't trust the Titans. 2 weeks ago, we were saying how good. Then they've been pumped 2 weeks in a row. What's going on there, Kev?
Well, I'll tell you what, Dobbo. It was a 5 or 6 minute period just before halftime where the Dragons picked up 2 or maybe even 2 tries it was, which the Titans go in then at halftime, a little bit deflated, a little bit lost. The second half, they played okay, but they were never. That period was a killer blow for them, you know. Yeah. And the Dragons, they were pretty impressive. They kept going, ended up scoring, 38 points. They were most impressive. I like what the Dragons did, but the Titans, that little period, and Des said that in his press conference, after the game, that period there, just before half time, was the killer blow for him. They couldn't. They fought on hard, but they couldn't recover the margin, after that.
Okay.
Tino, they've lost 6 games now when Tino hasn't played.
He's a huge difference to him. He's back this week anyway.
Yeah.
He's back from suspension this week. So,
I thought Dave Fafita probably had one of his better games defensively, and also set up a try. So Origin just around the corner.
No chance.
Look out for Fafita.
He won't be in that side.
Well,
he won't be in that side, mate. He would be if you were coaching him, and you did catch him second.
Well, Origin's about your bench has got to be dynamic. You're not looking for big minutes.
When can we unpack? Can we do that in the next couple of weeks? Can we get Kevie's Origin side from a couple of weeks out? I know.
Dobbo. See, that's the rookie error. When you pick your Origin side, the week that it's got.
We can speculate now.
But you can't.
We're in the media, mate. You're in the media now, mate. You can.
Well, I can speculate because if you've got Queensland blood, you're a chance for selection.
Okay,
right?
So you got Tino there, you got Carrigan there.
They could be suspended. They could be injured.
You got Harry Grant.
Queensland are going to have a great side, Dobbo.
Gilbert, will he be there?
I was speaking to Laurie Daly the other day, teasing him, because the pressure's on Laurie.
Yeah, sure. They got a fair side, mate, by the way.
Yeah, but some of their key players, and this question was asked me about key players into Origin, if their team's not going well, how does that put them? And I guess it's an individual thing, but, the Panthers are going to have up to, 3, 4, 5 players?
Well, definitely have. I think they have Yo. I think they have Martin, and I
Cleary,
also think Cleary.
Edwards,
right? Well, I don't know.
Mate, you got to pick Edwards.
Did you see how well James Tedesco played last week?
He's always going to be there, Tedesco. But
then where do you play Edwards?
No, I mean he plays well every week, Tedesco. When does he play a bad game?
He's better.
Same with Edwards. He wasn't bad the other night, Edwards. He just in a team that was.
Can we not pick Queensland, New South Wales sides? Can we let's just not pick a New South Wales side? Do not give them any ammunition that Kevin Walters, a former Origin
I'm not
coach.
going to pick a New South Wales
side.
Don't
even weigh. It's like Gordy. Gordy starts stirring the pot and starting picking a New South Wales side. Let's not put you in that same category. There. Okay, Cowboys 3 in a row. Very lucky. The Jack Whiten tackle that was ruled a hit.
Yeah, Wayne was upset about that after the game, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, no charges. So it absolutely should not have been a penalty. It was a turning point in the match.
Yeah.
South Sydney, very unlucky.
Well, they were unlucky, but they had their chances, Dobbo. They shot themselves in the foot. Even before that incident, there was a couple of errors from them coming out of their half, which is uncharacteristic of South over in the West, and they paid a price for that. The Cowboys capitalised on their errors inside their half. Jackson Purdue, well, he was our only leg up in the bet. In the bet, but he's finding some great touch, isn't he? He's at left centre. Definitely a player of the future, not only for the Cowboys but also for Queensland. Val Holmes is Queensland's left centre and will be for this series, but down the track, he's going to play Origin football. That kid, he's got his instincts are very good, and his technique is great as a centre as well. And grew up as a half 5'8". But now he's playing in the centre, so that just goes to show you, his talent.
What do you like about the Cows, mate? The first half was poor. What do you like?
Well, they were very poor, and they fixed up their errors, what they needed to fix up, and got on with the job. Again, Tom Dearden, prominent. Robson, prominent. They're key players. They're leading players. Tom Malolo ran for nearly 180 metres or something. So their big players are playing well, and they're their leaders. Which, if they can do that consistently, they're going to get themselves well into, they could easily finish, fourth or fifth, sixth around that area there.
Okay, Let's talk about the rest of them. Canberra too good, 50 points to 12 over the Eels. We also had the Sharkies.
Let's talk about the Raiders. Did you see?
I'll get to them in a minute. I'll just wrap the rest.
Right.
Sharkies 24, Manly 18. It was a poor game. And Melbourne were too good for the Warriors, 42 points to 12. Knights, well, they're in trouble. West Tigers 20, Knights 4. Let's go back. I think the Green Machine are a top 4 side. I'm going to say that. I absolutely believe that they are on the up.
Well, they're a different style of football team, aren't they? The way they play their footy. That Hudson Young, like he's next level, isn't he? Like I just like the way he plays. He's always smiling, and then you got their middle forwards are as good as anyone's, in the competition. They got power and speed on the edges with their centres. That Sebastian Chris, is it? Yep. And, so I like the Sticky's doing a great job. Right, and they've had to travel a lot, haven't they? Which has been one of Sticky's.
They've been everywhere. They've been to Darwin. They've been to Vegas. They've been to Townsville. They've been to Sydney.
Yeah.
They've only been home twice in 6 weeks.
Yeah. Well, did you notice what Sticky did at half time? Did you see that up there? Because we played up there a couple of years ago with the Broncos for a couple of years. They've got a cool room on the sideline it's an AFL ground where they play that stadium, and they've actually got a cool room where the players can go in and cool down at different stages of the game. So Ricky got all of his team in there at half time for 2 or 3 minutes, just to cool them down, and then they went into the normal dressing sheds.
Is that right?
It was a great ploy from Stick because it was really hot up there. It's very humid, and they handled the conditions much better than the Eels. Poor old Eels, Riles would be pulling his hair out. Like they were in that game. They were in that game at 22-12, I think it was, and then the Raiders just hit the button and they just skittled them, didn't they?
Completely,
got
absolutely.
Up to 50.
Yeah, and they had no resilience. Melbourne Storm were so good against the Warriors.
Yeah.
I mean, the Warriors came in there off the back of 4 wins, and then they take on Melbourne.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, they lost a couple of players. Nickel Clockstad, HIA. But to be fair, the Storm lost Jerome Hughes, didn't they, too, at half-time? So he's going for scans this week on his shoulder. That'll be a big out for the Dolphins this week if he's ruled out. But we'll see how that goes. But, the Storm are the one to chase, I think, definitely. Just with their attack, the way it just unfolds in front of you, with their spine. And then you got Xavier Coates, who had a huge game yesterday. Put him down for Origin. Talk about certainties. Mark him on the wing because his athleticism in the air is so good for the Storm, and his pace and his speed. Yeah, the Storm look really settled. Munster, he's doing his thing. Harry Grant and their middle forwards just get the ball over the advantage line. That's all they've got to do is just at least hold their own, and then the rest of them just take over. So,
take your biased hat off. You're a Queensland selector right now.
Yeah.
Right this moment, who are you selecting in the 1 jersey, Ponga or Walsh?
We'll get back to that one, Dobbo. They'll both be in the team.
I don't think they're going to both in the team.
I think they'll both be in the team.
So who would you be wearing the 1 jersey? You're not going to say?
No, I'm not going to say no. Who would you have?
I think Ponga's playing better than Walsh at the moment.
Ponga's only okay at the moment. Newcastle are struggling, and he's part of that. I know he's not.
But Reece is struggling at the moment. Like, struggling's the wrong word. He looks down in confidence. He's not playing anywhere near the football he's playing.
No, he's not, mate.
What he said yesterday, he's overthinking it. He's like nervous, or he's playing like he might be overthinking it a little bit. Like,
right. Well, this is what I'm seeing from Reece. When he gets the ball, he's running to get tackled
instead of trying to find the hole.
He used to. Well, his best when he's at his best, he's running, trying to make something happen. Now, whether he's a bit scared or a bit frightened to make an error, because everyone's hammering him about the errors and the like. But when he puts his best footy on, that's when Brisbane will be at their best. He's that important to them. Right now, he's still playing well. Like, I think he set up 2 tries. I think he scored a try. So he's still involved.
Yeah, but do you think he's injured? I mean,
he's not injured.
There's a couple of times where he let the ball bounce, and I understand. And we know how good this kid is.
Yeah. But I just think he's playing within himself, and he's playing a bit scared. Not scared of playing, but just worried about the errors, which let it go, mate. You play your best footy when you're free, and he's such a exciting player to watch when he's running the ball, That's
I love
my
how
thought.
you empower blokes. Like, I do love that. I love that fact that we're all of us, and we don't know footy. I know about as much footy on your thumbnail as, as what, like,
Thanks, Dobbo. Appreciate
no,
that.
like, so much more about it that, like, you absolutely want these blokes. It doesn't bother you, the error. You want to see them play that footy, and that's probably something, like, it's a very unbelievable, like, where a lot of people are like me, oh, mate, he's got to drop his errors, and he plays within himself. Well, that's you're the other way. You're like, mate, you get after it and play a bit of footy.
He does have to minimise his errors. Everyone has to minimise their errors. But the way that Reece plays, he plays high-level football, fast, furious. When he's doing that, he makes the right decisions. And there will be errors. Yeah. That comes with
and that's what you accept. Like, that if they're going to play footy, what's in front of them?
You work tirelessly trying to get his error count down, but also you need to express yourself as well, mate. And Reece is still coming to terms with when to pass, when to hold, all those things that, he's 21, 22, still learning, and he will continue to learn. But he's just got the balance wrong at the moment. I'm sure he'll fix that up in no time.
Ladder after 6 weeks. Bulldogs leading the competition. Geez, Good Friday clash against. It's going to be epic
against the Bunnies, isn't it?
Yeah. So they've had 5 wins. Storm are in second place. Broncos in third. Raiders in fourth. Rabbitohs in fifth. The Warriors, the West Tigers, which we love, and the Sea Eagles round out the 8. The Seagulls are on the slide for me. Sharkies, Dragons, Titans, Knights, Cowboys, Dolphins, Roosters. The bottom 2 sides, I didn't think I'd say this, Penrith and the Eels.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say the Eels have got some wooden silverware or wooden hardware, but I'm going to say that they've got one hand on the spoon.
Already.
I think Parramatta have got one hand on the spoon. Now, I'm not calling it. It's a long way, but I worry about Parramatta. And Parramatta fans, I'm sorry.
No, well, Moses coming back will make a huge difference to Parramatta, confidence-wise.
Well, that's week 10.
Kicking-wise, so that's not far away. I'm hearing he's playing Magic weekend, which is round 9.
Right.
So
there you go.
But they'd be foolish to rush him back and re-injure him. So, but he'll make a big difference to Parramatta when he comes. He's that type of player that helps those around him get better. So look out for that, Dobbo.
I'm looking forward to that. All right, winger of the week. It's Greg Marzi. You starred. You almost got it again this week. Who's your winger of the week this week?
Oh, Jack Bostock. I love,
mate. I don't think there is anybody better to serve it. What was he thinking?
Well, he was thinking kick it dead, but unfortunately he got it wrong. And thankfully, for Jack and the Dolphins, it didn't really affect the
Moses
outcome.
Leota's never scored an easier try than Jack's kick. Jack's old man was there at the game. He was filthy on him. Well, everybody was having a laugh with Jack afterwards, but, seriously, Jack, we love you, mate. And then you know what? I've got to say this as well, Jack. You won the winger of the week because of that absolute stupidity. But, mate, put a shirt on.
What about his rig post-game?
Yeah, but he's got this YouTube channel where he cooks, right?
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
Get a shirt on. You're better than that.
And get on my cooking channel.
Yeah.
I don't put flour on my crumb chicken.
You should have a collab.
No, Jack, I've seen Jack. He's very good.
Mate.
He's very good.
Mate, but he does it without a shirt on. I know.
Well,
you've got a good rig, Jack. You got a good rig, mate. We know that.
If you had a rig like that, you'd be cooking without it on too.
No, I would not. Yes, you would. I'm not a showboat. Listen, can I also talk to you now? We've got some questions for Kevie, and I would like to go through these, and this is it. After 6 rounds, and Tony, thank you for this, who's your surprise team inside the 8?
Surprise team inside? Well,
West Tigers?
West Tigers, not really a surprise because of their off-season spending and recruitment, but they're 3-3, and from what I saw yesterday against the Knights and for most of the season, what I like about the Tigers, and everyone's talking about their attack, but it's their defence. They're actually defending quite well, and only 6 points against them from the Knights at the Knights' home ground. I think it's a great effort defensively. That's where they've improved.
Zaza, thank you for this. Do you think the Broncos forwards aren't brutal enough, especially last week?
Nah, they're tough enough. You're going Go down to training and have a look how physical they are. I think mentally they got it wrong the other night. The Broncos, they're tough on it. Payne Haas, Pat Carrigan, Kobe Etherington, they're ready to go, mate. Jeez, it's only one game, Broncos fans. Just calm down, Broncos fans. It's only the one game.
Mitch Wood, you are a legend, part of the Broncos culture. Hey, Kev, what was your pre-game meal when you were playing and coaching? Very good question.
Yeah, coaching didn't really matter because I eat quite healthily anyway, but from a playing point of view, I used to like to get into the carbs the night before, a lot of spaghetti bowl, that sort of stuff. And always got to have some protein in there as well. Nice
chicken or something like that?
Chicken or steak. Loved it.
So what about before you coach? Did you ever have a feed? Or do you grab a pizza downstairs? Or
Nah.
Not really?
I used to have a banana in the dressing room and that because you can feel your stomach rumbling, you don't want to be hungry in the coach's box, but also you don't want to be heavy and overweight, feeling like you...
Speak for yourself.
Sorry.
Anyway.
You said that, not me. You know what I mean, Dobbo, after you've had a big feed. Okay.
Which players could sneak into the Origin side for Queensland this year? We are not commenting on the New South Wales Origin side. We're not giving them any fuel. Who could sneak in? Is Max Platt
Max Platt I'd say he'd be in Billy's sights somewhere over the series.
Tom Gilbert
would come straight back into contention. Jackson Purdue, I mentioned earlier, I think he's on the fringe there somewhere. They got good depth, the Queenslanders, haven't they? Yeah. Broncos have got good depth too, but the Maroons have got good depth in most position. We've pretty much got it covered. So that's really important for Billy and his team because over the series you will use different players and different combinations, Probably the only thing is DCE, whether what he's doing. If he's playing Origin or not, that would affect the selection, of the team. So
it's a really valid point with how that looks, and we will unpack the Origin side. Okay, Kev's cooking tip. Now, there's been a lot of pushback on your crumb chicken.
Oh, I can't see. Well, this disappoints me, Dobbo.
Well, mate, people are saying no flour. People are saying you cheapskated without putting the wedges.
Oh yeah, well that was my error.
Yeah,
sorry.
But can I just say? It was a very basic recipe.
I'm a very basic.
I showed my wife what, and she wasn't at all critical. She said, "Well, maybe you should take a leaf out of Kev's book and start cooking for once." I said, "Well, that wasn't the purpose of me showing it." So I then cooked homemade pizzas. I cooked homemade pizzas.
I saw that on the chat. Yeah, that was.
I don't know how we've got to all sharing our food, which you've created some sort of thing that we all share our food on a Wednesday night. But anyway, can I just say that I would like to know this week that there's an improvement on, and just quickly, how's Ava?
Ava's making some good progress, certainly, with a broken ankle. Look, there's a couple of people I want to thank because when you're in the rugby league world and working at professional clubs, the medical attention that you and your family get is amazing.
Second to none.
It's amazing, So when Ava did hurt her ankle, I reached out to Matty Hislop, who's the Broncos doctor and
one of the greats,
state of origin doctor. So he pointed us in the right direction. And we got some help at St Andrew's Hospital in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Dr. Michael Lutz.
Yeah.
He's a specialist with ankles and feet.
Yeah.
So Ava's going to see him next Tuesday and see he's going to make the decision on whether she needs an operation or what she does moving forward. So
she's still on the green whistle, or she?
No, she's fine. Yeah, still on some painkillers, but she's putting weight on it and stuff now. So, but yeah, the medical staff around rugby league teams are amazing.
Best.
The job they do is incredible, and for their families. So big thanks to those two especially.
Now look, we've obviously got Good Friday this week and Easter Monday, but we have a special guest coming on Wednesday with our interview segment. This guy is an absolute legend. We're not going to tell you who it is, but I will say that if you want to talk about checkered careers...
Yeah, this bloke will surprise a few people, Dobbo.
Tick. He's not a Bronco. That's what I will say. We will talk to more people than Broncos greats. We are open and we'll interview a lot. This bloke is a great man.
Got a great story too, Dobbo.
Great story. Insideball.podcast. Please share it with a friend. I shared it with more friends this week. Just one friend. If you've got one friend, please share it. We will be doing some giveaways in the next couple of weeks as well with some stuff. Kev's cleaned out the garage. He's got some old stuff there that he wants to give away. So, mate, we'll be giving away some of that stuff as well. Remember, Wednesday interview, Thursday preview, Inside Ball. Have a great week.